Hey there! Big announcement. I'm now partner.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. If you can't tell, Jeremy is wired for sound this morning.
I hadn't had one of these
Holy cow.
in like a week, and I learned that much like alcohol, your tolerance for this shit changes.
Yes.
Because right now I think my resting heartbeat is somewhere between a hummingbird and a Volvo.
He is all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
It's just smell, sounds, taste, colors.
He is ready to roll this morning. And it's a good thing because we are going to get into Jeremy's big board.
Yeah, we were going to do game previews, and then we went, oh, wait, we do that in the ESPN show, and now that we do all of it, you know, hey, it's don't want to overlap things.
Exactly. So we will be doing old game previews this afternoon on the ESPN Asheville Show, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400 locally, everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. ESPN Asheville, 3 to 5 weekday afternoons.
But before we even got started, we have a... What?
Do
Turn
it.
the damn board up.
Do it.
I'm your huckleberry.
There it is.
There
Rex
you go.
Buttrick, welcome to the House of Reprehensibles.
Yes.
Already on the graphic and everything.
Rex signed up at 3 a.m. this morning, and we love all of the late night.
Wait, was it at 3 a.m.?
I have no idea. It was like it was waiting on us.
It was after I put the stream up,
Oh,
so
okay.
it had to be after 9 a.m.
I was going to say it was almost like it was
on the
waiting.
graphic and everything.
Yeah.
Already on the graphic and everything.
You're on top of it.
And you know why? Because I am just moving at a pace that the rest of you only wish you could move at.
He's on cocaine.
I'm doing the drugs.
Oh, my God.
I got I'm all jacked up on something.
Where's your coffee cup? Show him your coffee cup. This
large.
is the most giant coffee cup I think I've ever seen.
Sad thing, not the biggest coffee cup I have. Biggest coffee cup I have here.
Anyway, it's going to be a fun morning. As you could tell, we are going to do Jeremy's big board, the top 32 prospects in the 2022 NFL draft class.
People ask for draft stuff all the time, so we figured this would be a good kickoff. This will be on the website. It'll be on all the things. First, we do have to get into Thursday Night Football. That was hard on the eyes. And analysis over.
Ooh, 2 points for Adam Black. Hummingbirds have hearts. Birds are real.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
Uh-huh.
And you know what we learned last night?
You just admitted it.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they suck.
Oh, God.
Good Lord, they're bad. I swear to you, there were times that, and I don't know if everybody else does this. I watch football in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the snap. What do you watch at the snap?
At the snap?
Where do your eyes go?
The line.
Okay, so you watch the line.
I always watch the line to see who gets the initial push off the offensive line or defensive line.
Yeah, so I watch two things. I watch the initial release of the receivers, and then I get to the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, if I didn't know any better, I would think Matt Hennessy had about $1 billion on the New England Patriots last night. Because he looked at Christian Barmore or Gavin Godchow or whoever was across from him and just went, fucking hit him. I don't care. Just knock his brains out. I don't give a shit. Motherfucker owes me money. That's what it looked like for an extended period of time.
Right.
Like, just beat the shit out of him.
That line's not good. I've been saying this for a while. It's like, you know, should they invest draft capital? Like I remember we were talking in the run up to the last draft of should they spend draft capital on the offensive line? Yes, I understand you already have a whole shitload of capital tied up in this team, but they're not good.
And when you say a whole shitload of capital, it's even more than that. They have like 2 first-round draft picks. They have like 2 second-round draft picks. They got a lot on that offensive line for Atlanta. They have more draft capital invested in their offensive line than any team in the NFL.
Indeed.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still just absolutely dreadful.
Yep.
In the comments, Jason Trump asked, Lions or Falcons, who's better?
Lions.
I don't know that I can get there because I think with Calvin Ridley and Cordero Patterson, the Falcons are better. But now you don't have either.
Right.
With neither, it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Because they suck a lot. You said their offensive line's not good. No, your dietary plan's not good. My future prognosis is not good, especially if I live at this caffeine rate for too long.
That all's about to change.
That draft or that offensive line is a dumpster fire covered in dumpster juice, wrapped in a train wreck, being tended by my ex-wife. That is what that is. That is
God awful.
It is whatever the worst thing on earth is. Listening to Nancy Pelosi talk.
Oh,
wow. Avocados, birds. They're that to the bird power. Mm-hmm. They are horrid.
Mm-hmm.
I was right on. Hey, you remember that thing I said about don't run out and go get Wade Gallman?
Yeah.
I think he had 2 more touches last night than I did.
How'd Mike Davis do for you last night?
They tried to get him the ball. The problem is that
3 times?
No, he was. the bad thing for him is I think he had 4 catches pulled back by penalty.
Right.
By the way, I was yesterday years old when I realized that there was an official in the NFL named Land.
Land.
His name is Land. I don't remember his last name, but his first name is Land, which I'm now waiting for C. Air.
Those are his twin brothers. They haven't made it up through the umpire ranks yet.
Correct. I once had a French teacher whose children's names were Sky and Kite.
Nice.
I used to ask her if her grandchildren's names were going to be Boat and Ocean.
Boat and Ocean. Yeah, last night was horrible. You got the point spread right, though.
Woo!
You did get the point spread. Remember when you
I got it all.
Hey, you remember when you said this will be 28-3?
I was close.
You were close.
The problem was that Atlanta couldn't score.
Well, it's 25-0. You had the point spread.
Well, I had the under. I had New England. I had Louisville. Louisville, by the way, I think Louisville could have scored 90 last night if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. They scored 62, and they stopped trying about 6 minutes into the third quarter.
Hey, if you got in on Monkey Knife Fight last night, you're welcome.
Pew, pew.
Jeremy just throwing out free money for you.
Let's see. You know what Monkey Knife Fight said this morning?
What was that?
I'm broke as shit, and I don't mind saying it.
Oh, wait.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah. Well,
I literally texted the guys at Monkey Knife Fight. I said, you want a lot of people to play on your service? Do more of that.
yeah.
Because that was fantastic. And do you know how I found out about it? Accident. Mm-hmm. I clicked on it and went, what the fuck? Matt Ryan over 1.5 yards? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Although you have to admit, it was the closest you ever thought it was going to come.
What do you mean?
As he threw for 150 yards.
Well,
I mean, his performance was awful.
1.5. That would be the equivalent of, we will give you money on Ohio State, Michigan State tomorrow if Michigan State shows up. They show up, you win. If they don't, now you're screwed.
Right.
Crazy Blade, first of all, we're like an AA meeting for sports, so welcome, Crazy
What's
Blade.
up, Crazy?
Atlanta should try to get a quarterback in the draft, and I believe they will. Mm-hmm. They're going to be picking obnoxiously high. As of right now, that same line that we love to say all the time, if the season ended right now, Atlanta would pick 10. And you're going to be able to get damn near any quarterback you want at 10. One's going to go in the top 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. I saw a mock draft from ESPN where Kayvon Thibodeau goes 1 to Detroit, and Houston took like Aiden Hutchinson. And I see those things. I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for, what is this, my 10th year or my 11th year? We figured this out one time.
I think it was 10.
I think this is 10.
Okay.
Because I said that a bunch of times last year, and then I did the math, and I think I was off. I have never seen a weirder draft class for quarterbacks than this one.
Yeah.
So I did a little poll just of people that I have worked with over the years doing draft things. Do you know how many different quarterbacks I've seen in the top 5 of people that I respect? Not even just people. I asked people that I actually give a fuck what they think, which is 7 people in this whole industry,
Yeah.
just if you're curious.
Yeah. How many different
13 different quarterbacks in the top 5. One that I had to go, wait, who? Then I read it again and went, oh, you misspelled his name aggressively.
Was it Jake Haener?
Actually, yes, it was Jake Haener.
Nice.
Yeah. Jake Haener's a guy that a lot of people like. I like Jake Haener. I just think he's a career backup. But there are a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. Just depends on who you like. I've got a quarterback really high. Mm-hmm. It's not the same quarterback you see everywhere else. And just so you know, we have broken the big board down. So there are 32 players on the initial big board. They are broken into tiers. The bottom 10, which I will now put on the screen, are guys that I really like and in the right system I think could be tremendous in the NFL.
Right.
The next, 11 to 22?
Yep.
11 to 22.
12 to 22.
12 to 22. Those are guys that there's greatly more places they could land and be franchise players. Mm-hmm. 5 to 11, those are, you'd really have to fuck them up.
Right.
1 to 4, they could play for the Detroit Lions and be coached by Lou Holtz, and it would be just fine. That guy, he's a great football player. Kyle Evelyn, great football player.
It's a little tease for the franchise players.
Yeah, he's one of them. If you've watched anything I've ever said, you could probably go, I bet Kyle Hamilton's pretty high on this list.
As he is. So the bottom 10 are all of Jeremy's wild cards.
Yep.
Guys,
and there's one of them is a guy that I promise you will not see in the top 32 of anybody else's big board.
Okay. And number 32, Wandel Robinson.
I absolutely love this kid. I want him to be higher. I just can't put him any higher. He's not real big. He was Mr. Football in Kentucky. I can't remember where he started. It's where he started. USC?
I think that's right.
He got there and went, well, this is bullshit. I don't want to do this. Went back to Kentucky, and every play, he is the guy. He's the guy on every play. And it doesn't matter. Little Swiss Army knife player. He's not real tall. He's 5'11". I'm looking now on Draft Tech to see where they have him, just because I have a feeling their number is going to be way higher than mine. Draft Tech, if you're going to get information from any other website, I do recommend Draft Tech pretty highly. Or Walter Football. They have him at 90. That's stupid to me. Oh, he's only 5'10". Yes, so is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Now, is he Tyreek Hill fast? No. But I don't care. He's a guy that just goes and gets open. I could see Wandel Robinson ultimately being I don't know, Keenan Allen. I could see him being that good.
Really?
Patrick Holt said worst font color combo ever. Yeah, here's the thing. With Kentucky, there ain't a whole lot you can do.
Yeah.
I tried it every different way that I could. Short of adding a red, it was going to look fucking weird.
And why would you do that?
Because it's not your colors.
Don't do red. Not at all. Wandel Robinson at number 32. Number 31, it's my guy Kenny Pickett.
And here's the thing. I don't think Kenny Pickett is – a lot of people are complaining about the font color. Just blow your screen up. It ain't that hard to read. I'm sitting here looking at it, and I can't see. Yes, Wandel Robinson's hard to read. Sorry, there's nothing I can do with Kentucky's shit blue and shit white.
You're getting picky today. I like it.
Do it. That's fine. It's fine. I try to color code them so we can put them on the website. It looks better in print than it does on the screen. I'm not going to lie. Kenny Pickett's just a guy that I think the floor is so low on him. I don't necessarily think he's a starter in the NFL for a long period of time. But there's one guy that's really changing my opinion on that. It's Mac Jones. What did Mac Jones do last night? Be really honest with yourself.
He maintained.
He did nothing. He threw to wide-ass open receivers. That's it. Can Kenny Pickett do that? Yeah, he can. In a system like that, I think he can be fantastic.
Okay.
Here's my fear with Kenny Pickett. I can't stop putting him with the Pittsburgh Steelers because it just makes all the sense in the world because they're going to need a quarterback that's ready to come in and start right away. Because Mason Rudolph's not the guy. Dwayne Haskins not the guy. I don't know that that's what he's going to be. And in the comments, it's a lot of game management and control the clock. That's exactly right. They're asking. This is the reason that I get so pissy with Mac Jones. He's not being asked to do much. And here's the problem. You're getting ready to see over the next 4 games why that's a problem. Because he's going to play Josh Allen twice, Carson Wentz, who doesn't really fit in this narrative, but their defense is so good, and Ryan Tannehill. It's really hard for you to win games against quarterbacks like that. And I have the same fear with Kenny Pickett. I don't know that he can ever be that high-level guy. Do I like Kenny Pickett better than Mac Jones? Yes, I do. I think Kenny Pickett will be a better pro than Mac Jones is. I think he'll be a better version of Mac Jones, unless he's asked to do too much.
Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, that would be kind of my fear. I'm afraid that they would ask him to do what Ben does, and I don't think he can be that. I think he can be exactly what Mac Jones is. You come in, you run the offense, you keep us ahead of the chains, we run the ball well, we play good defense, and you can be I think an 8 to 10 year starter in the NFL.
But I don't know that he can be mobile like young Ben was. He can throw deep down the field.
He can.
I'm not saying it's going to be, gunslinger-esque and him taking big shots like young Ben did. But I see a lot of similarities in their game.
There are some similarities. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're the same guy.
No, they're not the same guy. I'm just saying.
Can they do a lot of the same things? Yes.
Right.
Again,
I don't know
I've said this so many times that I don't want to spend much time on this.
Right.
I've said this 100 times about Kenny Pickett. I never valued him to be this guy until this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's unsettling.
Until he was older.
That's unsettling.
Yeah.
I would say ceiling on him is really. Jason Trump said early Ben was a game manager. That's kind of where I was headed. I could see him being early Ben. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he'll ever have that Super Bowl champion Ben in him. But can he be what Ben was early? Yeah. And I think with those weapons and that defense, that's exactly what they would be looking for. I don't really like Kenny Pickett in any other situation. That's why I'm harping on Pittsburgh so much. Because that fit is so perfect that outside of that, I don't think he's going to hit the highest of highs that he can.
Part of me was kind of shocked that you have so many quarterbacks on this list. At number 31, there's another quarterback, Carson Strong.
This is the exact. You remember all the things I just said about Kenny Pickett? Mm-hmm. Yeah, say all the opposite about Carson Strong. Carson Strong that's the in the comments earlier, it was said that Atlanta needed a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Carson Strong. Because he's a guy you can sit behind Matt Ryan for a year, teach him how to be a pro. Because this kid's all the things we said about Trey Lance, they don't all apply here, but there is a huge jump in competition. Carson Strong has an elite level arm. He's not overly athletic. None of those height, weight, speed things are going to pop for him. What pops for him is you watch him on tape and just go, kid's the best player on the field every time he steps on the field. Mm-hmm. And that says a lot to me. I like Carson Strong probably more than anybody else you'll see. And you said you were shocked about how many quarterbacks I had. Mm-hmm. It's projection. It's just going to happen.
Okay.
You're going to have, I would say this year, I would be borderline stunned if we didn't have 4 quarterbacks in the first round. Borderline blown away.
But we'll have more at the back half rather than the top half.
I don't know that. I don't. I think the one guy that I can tell you is going to go higher than he should is Malik Willis. Mm-hmm. Straight up. He's going to go higher than he should. By the way, if you want to ding Carson Strong on something, he does get picked off a little bit. It's not crazy like Jordan Love was. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily in raw number, but in percentages. He doesn't get picked off as often. But some of those decisions are some of them that you can kind of slide by because was it on the receiver? Was it a bad read? Carson Strong knows this offense so well that a lot of those I don't put on him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had one against, I can't remember what game this was. I've watched a lot of Carson Strong. He had one that I've watched it 10 times, and I've yet to figure out how I could possibly put it on him. The receiver stops. They immediately look at each other, and the receiver just drops his head like he knew.
Right.
Like, that's on me. I did that.
At number 29, it's a guy you and I both really like. You're super drunk on him. I would look for this guy to probably end up on the Chase Claypool list, which is Jeremy's yearly just gotta have it list.
This year it may be the Michael Pittman list.
Okay.
I may just rename it every year.
You're gonna change it to the Michael Pittman list.
I might.
All right.
Chase Claypool didn't acknowledge me when I tagged him in it, so we'll try Michael Pittman.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Wasn't it the Michael Pittman list, and then you changed it to the Chase Claypool list?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
And so now you're going back to
basics.
Back to Michael. Okay. All right. Anyway, Drake Jackson from USC.
The raw on him is intoxicating to watch. Mm-hmm. My biggest takeaway on Drake Jackson is that he's out of position a lot. They've moved him around a ton. I don't think he's coached very well. And you're going to see there are a couple different pass rushers that I'm pretty fond of, and it's a lot of projection. I think there's a lot left in Drake Jackson. Mm-hmm. He can do a lot of things. This is a guy, he's not crazy fast. I think he's going to run somewhere in the high 4.6s, low 4.7s at 6'4", 250 pounds. Can he play outside linebacker? Yeah, that's not necessarily where I would love him the most. I would like him. You remember back in the day when the Giants had that NASCAR package where they had linemen, it was just 4 edge rushers, And
yeah,
they would
like
move him around.
Osi Umenyiora and Justin Tuck. Yeah.
Strahan.
Mm-hmm.
He's a perfect fit for something like that.
Okay.
Because he can play on the inside. He is strong enough to play on the inside. It's just my fear with Drake Jackson is he winds up on the wrong team. If you try to make him a 3-4 outside linebacker, he is never going to be exactly what I want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes some of this so hard is that we talk about, we love these guys. And I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head of a guy that I really, really liked, and I just feel like he's never been used right. And there have been a slew of them over the years. But he's a guy that has to go to the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic pass rusher, fantastic story, great skill set, just going to have to be used the right way. I like him as a hand-in-the-dirt 4-3 edge. I really don't want anybody to stand him up.
And more situational rather than being an every down player?
So that
you like him more as a situational pass rusher rather than being an every down?
I think he can be an every down player. I really do.
Number 28, cornerback out of Florida.
And this is a guy that I'm liking less and less as time goes on.
Kaiir Elam.
His brother Matt played in the NFL, also a Florida guy. And this is not a Florida bias. It's just the tape on him this year has not been. The thing about Kaiir Elam is there has been so much talent around him. Like he had Marco Wilson last year.
Mm-hmm.
And when he wasn't getting your best shot, he was much more impressive. There's a tape of him against Shi Smith that I cannot get away from because Shi Smith beat him like a kettle drum.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch that and I just go, okay, I think you're a good 2. I think Kaiir Elam is a good 2. Problem is he's going to be drafted like a 1, and he's one of those guys. It's D. Milner disease.
Mm-hmm.
You were on a talented defense. People avoided you because you were, without a doubt, the best corner on your team. Then you get to the NFL and you get exposed.
Did that hurt you to say that?
No. Fuck D. Milner. I have very rarely ever been as pissed at a pick as I was on D. Milner because I didn't love him at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll learn. There are a lot of times that I look at guys that play at Alabama and Georgia, and I'll kind of downgrade them. And the reason that I downgrade them is I think everything in your tank has been gotten out of you.
Right.
I mean, name me the player that played at Alabama and then went to the NFL and got better. There's not one. I'll just go ahead and tell you, there ain't one.
There ain't one.
It's just not. So, I mean, you'll see that. And Georgia's becoming very much that, too.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't – I can't really wrap my head around what exactly how are you supposed to get better?
Right.
So, Eric Bradley asked in the comments what I think about Xavier Thomas's draft stock. He's an edge from Clemson. I kind of see him as a 3-4 outside linebacker project type. He's going to go, I'm going to say on the back end of day 2. I don't think he's going to go any higher than that. He might fall into the 3rd round. He's been really bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
This year he has been, with all the talent in the world around him, he has not been particularly good.
Well, he was highly touted when he came in.
Oh, yeah,
and he was supposed to be the next
Farrell.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the next great edge rusher from Clemson, and he's been fine. He was really good, and then he was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it's been, the defense has still been good. He's been solid, but
he's going to be a project. I mean, literally, he is the definition of a project because he's a little short, really, no matter how you plan on using him, and he's heavy. When you look at his body type, he's one of those guys that, and this is nitpicking to the highest extreme, but he's a guy you look at and go, you could end up getting porky because his body type is weird. You don't like seeing guys that are built like cinder blocks. You want that lean, muscular frame because that can add good muscle, stay at the same speed, build up the strength, and then now you've got the Osi Umenyiora type who look like Thor, God of Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Thomas, to me, looks like a guy that he's built like a cinder block. I like him, and I think he does have a role in the NFL. He is a situational pass rusher to me. He's always going to be a little undersized.
At number 27 from Ohio State, wide receiver, Chris Olave.
Yeah, this is and I'm going to do Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson are 2 spots away from each other. There's 1 in between them.
Okay.
I have the same problem with both of them.
What's that?
I really like them together. I don't know that either one of them can be a 1 in the NFL. Name me, other than Michael Thomas, a really high-end receiver from Ohio State. Since Ryan Day's been there. Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of busts. Devin Smith. I mean, I know that was Urban Meyer, not Ryan Day, but It's still very similarly the same system. I watch them both and go, man, you run by really shitty corners and you beat busted coverage more than any 2 receivers I've ever seen in my life. Now, can they be elite deep threats? I think so. But like Olave is a guy I would really love to see in Kansas City because I think he can be an underneath route runner and be all of those things I've talked about with what is really difficult for Kansas City right now.
Right.
Garrett Wilson's a home run threat. And the problem that I have with him is that Alexander said Terry McLaurin. Good call. Yeah. I was not thinking about that one. That's a good one. That is a good one. Mm-hmm. The problem I have with Olave is he's very, and it's what you get with a lot of guys that are down here in the 22 through 32 tier. You have to go to the right team. If you got like Olave gets tied to the New Orleans Saints constantly, I would despise that.
Really?
Yes.
Him running in that slot role?
Yes, but what does Michael Thomas do? Michael Thomas does his best work out of the slot. So now you got 2 slot guys.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of thought that he may not be there much longer.
Well, and that's fine. All right, now Olave's the 1. What did I say when we first started this? I do not like him as a 1.
Right.
At all. I want you to be on a team where Olave's ideal fit would be the Green Bay Packers. You have Devontae on the other side. Devontae takes that no doubt number 1 coverage. You can play in the slot. And I think he can pick on slot guys in the NFL.
Or the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that either. But A.J. Brown plays in the slot a lot.
That's true.
It gets into hat on a hat.
Yeah.
You have 2 slot guys, and Olave's best role is in the slot. To me,
Agreed.
You watch tape on that, there's no doubt. But he plays on the outside. I understand that. His best role in the NFL is in the slot.
I agree.
I don't want him necessarily on a team where, and that falls into the Tyreek Hill thing. The only difference is that in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill can play on the outside and play like a slot guy.
What about the Buffalo Bills?
I wouldn't hate it. It would be a Cole Beasley replacement, and I think he can be a much more electric slot guy than Cole Beasley.
Yep.
I just don't know that he's ever going to be that super sure-handed slot guy. There's just a very wide range of outcomes with Olave. Now, Garrett Wilson on the other side, he reminds me so much of Devin Smith that I can't stop seeing it. I remember watching Devin Smith being the best high point of football, or not high point, but deep center field, catch it over your shoulder receiver that I've ever seen.
Right.
What's the problem with that? He went to the NFL, and you don't have that anymore. You're not waiting behind the safeties very often in the NFL.
Right.
He does that all the time at Ohio State. Now, that being said, I think he's much better with the ball in his hand than Devin Smith was. So that's why I got him at 25. I think he's 25.
Yep. Yeah, 25.
I'm not trying to slam the guy. I'm just telling you why he's in the 20s for me, where a lot of people have him in the mid-teens.
I like Olave better than I do Wilson, but I have.
I don't. I did. I think the range of outcomes is more on the side of a Garrett Wilson because of the way the NFL's played now. Garrett Wilson is going to be a really good deep threat in the NFL.
Now, the guy you got ranked at number 26, in between Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, I like way more than everybody else, but he's my guy. Jordan Davis. He is a monster for Georgia on that defensive line.
But here's the problem. He's a get-in-the-way guy. That's what he is. Name me a high-end player in the NFL that's what they do. This is where I get with Jordan Davis, because he's not a good pass rusher. He's not.
No. He's like a run stuffer.
Yeah, he's a get-in-the-way guy. He's a lane clogger.
Vita Vea, but a little less pass rush.
Yeah, because Vita Vea just will manhandle you.
Oh,
Vita Vea is a mountain.
Yeah,
Jordan Davis is a very wide mountain.
Yeah, he will very cartoonishly pick up your center and push him into other people.
And I think he's going to be a great run stuffer. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
And it's exactly what I think he's going to be in the NFL, which has a great role. It's not a top 10 role. Grady Jarrett. That's exactly who he reminds me of.
That is a good one.
Because he's never going to do high, and I don't think he's as good a pass rusher as Grady Jarrett is. I think he immediately makes you markedly better against the run. Problem is, when you get into pass down situations, I'm not sure you can even be on the field.
You don't think he can get any push?
He's just not a good pass rusher. That's not how pass rush works. Pass rush, you have to be able to win. Think about last night. All right, so we watched this routinely with New England last night. They're getting pressure up the middle. Why? Because Gavin Godchaux and Christian Barmore are guys that one-on-one can win. That is the point of playing 3-4 in multiple front, things like that. Barmore and Godchaux got over the center, Matt Hennessy, last night with Atlanta, and just beat him sideways. I don't ever see Jordan Davis do that. Here's what I see him do. I see him try to split the 4 gap right there and try to get in between the guard and the center, and now it's a double team and somebody has to come in behind him.
Yep.
That works out great when you have Adam Anderson and Nakobe Dean and all these other players. Jordan Davis is going to get picked too high. I feel almost positive of that. Unless scouts start seeing what I'm seeing of, I'm afraid how big you're going to get.
I think he'll probably end up in the top 10.
He won't. I can tell you definitively he won't go in the top 10. Nobody, I mean, if he does, you should be fired immediately because this is a 2-down player. He's an elite, high-end 2-down player. But, I mean, you compared him to Vita Vea. Vita Vea went at 11.
Yep.
Vita Vea went at 11, and he's a better pass rusher. I would say Jordan Davis should fall somewhere in the 15 to 25 range. He should go to a good team that can use him for what he is and not try to ask him to be things that he's not. If you ask him to be a pass rusher, you're going to be disappointed.
Garrett Wilson, number 25. We already talked about him. Number 24 brings us to another quarterback. Your guy from Liberty, Malik Willis.
Don't call him my guy. He's not my guy.
That's
he
your
plays
team,
for my
so I have
Flames.
to. Right, so I have to put him on you.
He makes. All right. So first of all, I have to hit on the fact that there are not many teams in college football that have played a worse schedule than Liberty. Watch the tape against Ole Miss. Just watch the tape on against Ole Miss and tell me that he's the number 1 quarterback in this class. Because if you do, that's fine. You're seeing what you want to see. But if you watch how he played and but he ran. He was so good running. Yeah, I get that. How many times on 3rd and 4 did he take a stupid sack? He took 2 bad sacks on 3rd down that took them out of field goal range. You know why? Because he used to be the most athletic guy on every field he plays on. You know what never plays in the NFL? That. Oh, but Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson figured out I'm faster than everybody else. And Baltimore schemed around him. Can a team in the NFL do that with Malik Willis? Yeah, that's why he's at 24. Here's what I think is going to happen. Teams are going to fall in love with him because he will run. I can't tell you I'm positive of it, but I feel very sure he's going to run. And he'll put up a number. It's not going to be as fast as you think. Lamar Jackson broke the mold on that. He's going to run in that 4.5-ish range, high 4.4s. And you're going to go, all the things. And then he's going to go to the fucking Lions. Cool. Your line's not good, and your receivers are not good, and he's going to try to do entirely too much. And I don't like that. He takes way too many sacks. He holds on to the ball way too long. And that's indicative of I have been better than damn near every team I've ever played. At some point, I'm going to do a video that we'll put on YouTube because we're going to start doing those as we get closer and closer to the draft. I'm going to do a video of Malik Willis against teams that are his level of talent or better. You'll watch that, and I promise you, you'll go, Malik Willis is not a first-round pick.
Number 23 on Jeremy's big board for the 2022 draft class. Tell us about Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa.
I love this guy. I really do. There's I can't remember his last name's Brown. Spencer Brown? I think it's Spencer Brown. He was on the other side at Northern Iowa. Now he's a tackle for the Bills. Spencer Penning is a guy that if he played at Alabama, he'd be a top 15 pick.
Trevor Penning.
What'd I say?
Spencer.
Sorry.
You had Spencer Brown.
I melded them into one guy. If Trevor Penning played at a bigger school, he'd be a top 15 pick. He doesn't, and that's going to be the biggest knock on him is level of competition.
Well, because he ragdolls guys at his level.
Oh, yeah. He does it with guys when Northern Iowa plays up, too. It's not just, he ragdolls little small school Northern Iowa. No, he's done this against the best teams they played. This kid's really talented. He's really, really talented. My fear is that maybe he gets pigeonholed and he's only a right tackle. I think he's one of the few guys that has left tackle ability. Now, could he benefit from going to a good team and starting on the right side? Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's 6'7".
Yeah, so is Spencer Brown. I literally watching the tape on when they were on both sides. Mm-hmm. It looked like who is supposed to get to this quarterback exactly? 4? I mean, they're the 2 biggest bookends I've ever seen.
Right.
On the same line. Now, you got a Daniel Lele who is not in my top 32. He's a house. He's in the 30s for me. Just let that be known. But I think he's a right tackle in the NFL.
Okay.
He's 6'9", 380, if you don't know who I'm talking about. He plays at Minnesota. He's a house. Watch a Minnesota game and go, who is that big motherfucker? That's Daniel Lele.
Who is that big
Who is that big motherfucker that makes every other big motherfucker on this field look like Tiny Tim?
You can't miss him.
No, it's physically impossible. Look at them in the huddle. He's a head taller than everybody.
Mm-hmm. The pride of the Michigan Wolverines, number 22, David Ojomo. Ojomo.
Yeah, it's not spelled the way it's pronounced.
No.
This is a guy that screamed up boards, and there is one thing that bothers me about this. He is really good winning one-on-one. Why were you not this guy before? Mm-hmm. You're this guy now. You have Aiden Hutchinson, who you're not going to see for a while, in front of you, and now it's because he's getting one-on-one. Ojomo is a guy that I really like. I think he can do a litany of different things. I think he can stand up in the NFL. I actually like him better standing up. But he's going to have somebody on the other side. By the way, he played in high school with Odafe Oha. That was their 2 outside linebackers.
Wow.
David Ojomo and Odafe Oha in high school.
And that defense never gave up a point.
They were pretty good. They were pretty damn good.
Jobo comes in at number 22. Number 21.
Hold on, before you move past it,
okay,
Jobo.
sorry.
This is the tier where you start getting into there are less people that can screw you up. I don't want to see him with his hand in the dirt.
This is the steady starter tier.
Yeah. That's probably a good way of putting this. Mm-hmm. These are guys that I think will be starters in the NFL for quite some time.
Okay.
Ojomo, it's just you're going to have to watch the tape from this year, and you got to fall in love with the tape from this year as opposed to the limited tape that you had before that.
Yeah. So Jobo is a tweener on this list, but you have him in the starter category.
Which works nicely because he's a tweener in the NFL, too. Mm-hmm. He needs to put on some weight because he's a little thin.
At number 21, Jermaine Johnson, the Georgia transfer to the Florida State Seminoles.
One thing that you'll learn about me through the pre-draft process is when there's a guy that plays on a shit team, of which Florida State's a shit team. Mm-hmm. I pull for them. I'm a booster. I can say that. Mm-hmm. And you still can't block the one guy that you know is coming routinely. I'm usually going to really like that guy. The unsettling part about Jermaine Johnson, why were you not this at Georgia? You couldn't find a role on that defense.
Yeah, but
you're about to say,
had
but
everybody in front of it.
It doesn't matter. You're a top 20 pick in the NFL. There should not be, there was blankety blank in front of him. Mm-hmm. Who was it? Aiden Hutchinson? No? Oh, okay, then that's weird. That's weird to me that you couldn't get on the field. Mm-hmm. Now, does he fit that Georgia defense as well as he fits at Florida State? No. But he couldn't be multiple. He couldn't find his way on the field. It's a little unsettling to me. But then I watch the Florida State tape and just go, okay, I understand this is not SEC competition. The ACC does not score points. They don't have the, as Brian Haynes used to call them, the high-tamales that they have in the SEC.
Right.
Jermaine Johnson is eating the lunchbox of every person that lines up across from him. Did it to Miami. Miami couldn't touch him. He dominated them. He did it against Notre Dame. That's the thing that's really swayed me on him. The better team they played, the better he's been. Mm-hmm. That says a lot. That says a lot that you're a lunch pail guy that brings your Chuck G said Drew Henson was in front of Tom Brady. A, that was 22 years ago. B, Drew Henson was the number one recruit in the nation. C, Tom Brady was grossly limited athletically and didn't fit into the Michigan scheme. D, nobody liked his dad because his dad was a loudmouth prick. There's a lot of things that went into that. So, I mean, I'm not trying to fault you and say, no, that's not something you can ever use. You can. There were just a lot of things that went into that. Mm-hmm. And I get that the talent in front of Jermaine Johnson was good too. It's unsettling to me that you didn't have hardly any role whatsoever. You were borderline irrelevant at Georgia. And now you're going to be a top 20 pick in the NFL?
Right.
I kind of need you to tell me why. And that's it. That's all I'm saying with that is that when he comes in and I do the interview with him, I'm going to say, hey, what do you think happened in Georgia there? Everybody else seemed to be pretty good, and you couldn't get on the field.
That's it. I mean, it's fine. The scheme didn't fit me, and
that's the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Don't slam Georgia. Don't do any of those things. Just look at them and go, you know what? That scheme was not as good a fit for me. I'm better as a 4-3 edge that's allowed to just barrel after quarterbacks. That's better for me. I found a better fit at Florida State, and that's why the tape was so much better. Cool. Yep. First round grade.
Yep.
Stamp it. Let's go.
JJ Enagbare, or Kingsley Enagbare.
Yeah, they call him JJ.
Yeah, that's his nickname. He will be officially listed on many draft boards, though, as Kingsley Enagbare. Yeah. He's your number 20.
It's another guy that's really screamed up boards this year. And he falls into that same tier with Jermaine Johnson. When you're the one guy that really scares people on a defense, it says a lot when you can still be as productive as he is. Mm-hmm. This kid's an athletic freak. I mean, and that's not a shot. That's a massive compliment. He is a freak of nature, and he has really benefited from this coaching switch. He didn't look he was still good with Will Muschamp. He wasn't this. Now he's a guy that I look at and go, he can be a high-level, disruptive NFL. I'm resisting the urge to say 3 down because I don't know that he can be. He could be a situational guy. It's all beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The thing about Enagbare, he's an athletic, just freak of fucking nature. Mm-hmm. The improvement in the pass rush has kind of made him less of a force against the run, which makes me wonder if because all I have is what he was weighed in at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. I look at him and I go, your body looks like it's changed a little bit, and you've gotten leaner, and you've gotten worse against the run as time's gone on. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird to me. But the biggest knock on him coming in was he wasn't a great pass rusher. Well, we figured that the fuck out.
Right.
We figured that the fuck out.
Been getting plenty of push in 2021, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Number 19, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas.
This is a weird evaluation. He's a weird evaluation for me. He transferred into Arkansas this year. Mm-hmm. The tape on him had always been good. He was always a good player. He's not... Arkansas they don't have this big pass-happy offense. Mm-hmm. The thing about Treylon Burks is every time the ball gets in his hands, good things happen. That's usually a very good sign for your NFL prognosis. This is a guy that I look at and go, why do I keep seeing you in a Buffalo Bills uniform? Like, mentally in my head, I see you on the other side of Stephon Diggs, and I love every second of it.
Okay.
Don't ask me why I hate New England, but I don't hate the Buffalo Bills. I don't, and I don't know why. They're both division rivals. I hate one. I don't hate the other. Mm-hmm.
It's because you've never been afraid of the Buffalo Bills until recently.
I'm afraid of them now. I just watched them eat my lunchbox. They literally took the sandwich, they ate it directly in front of me, and they shoved the wrapper for the cookie up my ass.
Yeah, but still, they've never won anything. So, I mean, yeah, you made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
They went to 4 Super Bowls when I first became a football fan. So. Mm-hmm. And New England never went to 4 Super Bowls in a row. They also didn't lose 4 Super Bowls in a row.
I was going to say. Treylon Burks, he's a big dude.
He is a big dude.
He's a big-bodied wide receiver, and here's the thing. You can give him the ball in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. Like Deebo Samuel type of a utility. Like the way San Francisco used him in this last game. I wouldn't mind seeing him lining up in the backfield.
Yeah,
sparingly.
Yeah, the only thing is I don't know that he's going to be that kind of a yak guy. You're taking away what he does so well. Mm-hmm. What Treylon Burks does better than any receiver in this draft class is high point the football. He's a guy that he's going to be a red zone disaster for defenses because he's just going to outman your. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a big corner to deal with him. You're just going to have to. He has great hands. He is a 50-50 jump ball monster. And I'll be honest with you, I think there's better in him than we've even seen. Mm-hmm. Because I don't buy Jefferson all that much as a quarterback. I don't think KJ Jefferson's that great of a quarterback. He kind of reminds, to be honest with you, the more the comparison's been made, the more he reminds me of Cam Newton.
Okay.
Which makes me like Treylon Burks even more. because he high points poorly thrown balls.
Mm-hmm.
That means a lot with the receivers.
Hey, maybe he'll end up in Carolina and he can have Cam throw to him next year.
You know the good thing? He would immediately be the receiver with the best hands in Carolina.
Ahmed Gardner, the cornerback out of Cincinnati, is next up at number 18 on Jeremy's 2022 big board.
Chuck G said going to 4 straight Super Bowls is a tremendous accomplishment and should be applauded, not derided. I couldn't agree with you more. I've always thought it's stupid that people undervalue what Buffalo did just because you didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the argument of Joe Montana went to 4 Super Bowls and won. Tom's lost, 3 times?
Yeah.
He's still been to fucking 10 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say he's 7-3.
That's still better. That's still better.
Mm-hmm.
10 is more than 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those arguments that people try to make at me, and it makes me really angry. Like, okay, tell me you hate Tom without telling me you hate Tom. Because that's really the only way you can justify that.
Agreed.
It's just like LeBron and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Michael went to 6. Yep, LeBron's been to 107 of them. That's still better. But he lost. I don't care. I don't care. He's been to 11 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing. Sorry, didn't mean to derail there.
That's all right.
Ahmed Gardner. He's one of the best corners I've ever seen.
Really?
The problem is I don't know that there's a lot more to him. This is another one of those that I feel like Luke Fickell has coached the shit out of this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to come in the league. This is a really lazy way of saying this because I see this guy's a very Patriot way kind of guy. He's going to be the Mac Jones of defensive players in this draft. He'll come in and be an immediate day one, no doubt starter because he is so prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Derek Stingley Jr., I don't think there's a corner in this draft that's more prepared to be an impact NFL player than Ahmed Gardner. Problem is, I don't know that there's another step. If there is another step, he's going to be Stephon Gilmore. Just straight up. If there is another step, he's going to be a top 5 corner in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he will walk into the league as a top 20 corner in the NFL. He's so polished. He can do everything. Press man, which you don't see a lot of corners do.
Mm-hmm.
He does. And Ahmed Gardner, he plays, it's small school. So level of competition is always going to come up. But every tape I've watched of a team that has a draftable level receiver, Ahmed Gardner just goes, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
Press him at the line, take him completely out. I started the LeBron Michael thing in the comments.
You did.
I didn't mean to.
Good job. Way to go.
Yeah, they're both great. I've never understood why one has to be greater or less than the other.
I haven't either. Number 17, Kenyan Green.
For me, now you're going to see him. He's much lower to me than a lot of other people have him.
Mm-hmm.
For one very simple reason. He's a guard. To me, he's a guard. My fear is that he's going to be drafted in the top 12 to play tackle. And I don't know that I'm going to love that. The tape on him screams guard. You draft him to be that, he would be much higher. If I knew definitively he was going to be a guard, he would be in the top. He would be right there with Aquano from NC State. Okay. I don't think anybody with an IQ above salad dressing is going to draft Aquano to be anything but a guard.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, so somewhere at the top of this starters tier.
Correct.
Number 16, Matt Corral. Unfortunately, not going to win the Heisman Trophy.
I do not know what to do with Matt Corral.
I mean, he's going to go somewhere. He's going to he's going to come in and he's going to be Mitch Trubisky, in my opinion. He'll be drafted as somebody is going to draft him like he should be a franchise quarterback, and they're going to find out in 2 or 3 years. I just don't know that this guy has it. He's a great college quarterback. I mean, I'm not the almighty Flostradamus talent evaluator, but that's what I see when I see Matt Corral. I see a really borderline great college football player.
The difference between Matt Corral and Mitch Trubisky is that Corral has a bigger arm.
Mm-hmm.
He can make every NFL throw. Here's where I get a little dicey with Matt Corral. He runs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's not real fast. Like, am I the only one that's figured that out? He's not real fast. Like, this is Baker Mayfield all over again. oh, look how mobile he is in the pocket. Do you find Baker Mayfield to be real mobile right now?
No.
No. Because you get to the NFL and the fact that you're a 4.75 guy, you look like you're running in molasses.
Uh-huh.
I could see that being a problem for him. Now, that being said, you get him in the right system. You get him in a spready. My evaluation on Matt Corral is very similar to my evaluation when I graded Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in the right system, that arm is intoxicating.
Like Cliff Kingsbury type system?
It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It has to be. It has to be one of those strategical advantage offenses where I don't necessarily have to think that much to read.
Mm-hmm.
To read. I don't want him to run as much as he does. But he's the only quarterback in this draft that I can definitively tell you is going to go in the first round.
Really?
There is no path that he does not go in the first round. I can't say that about any other quarterback. Sam Howell.
Right. Regardless of how it comes out, he will be the only one that it winds up right in the middle of being the guy who's going to get drafted in the first round every time.
He's the guy that there's no path to him falling out of the first round.
Right.
I can tell you what everybody else is going to get dinged on. Matt Corral, the thing he's going to get dinged on is I don't know that the way you play is going to work in the NFL, and he's small.
Mm-hmm.
He's very small. That could come up to be a problem. But the arm is intoxicating. I like a lot of things about Matt Corral. He's just going to have to be in a very specific offense.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of him to the Washington football team. It depends. I don't love the idea that Scott Turner is going to be the one trying to figure out how to use him. But now that being said, would I love him with Terry McLaurin and having a seam stretcher like Logan Thomas and Antonio Gibson in the backfield and J.D. McKissick and Curtis Samuel, who I hadn't even brought up yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be tremendous. I just wouldn't necessarily love it with Scott Turner. You need an offensive mind with Matt Corral.
Yeah.
This was a highly recruited guy. If you remember, Matt Corral was a commit to USC. And then Lane Kiffin showed up at Ole Miss, and he went, oh, wait, I think I'm going to do that. Yeah. Let's do that.
Because the one is the way you wind up on the map. The other is how you wind up getting dragged.
Actually, it wasn't Lane Kiffin. He got recruited by Luke. What was his first? Matt Luke.
Matt Luke.
Yeah, that was when Helton got put in at USC.
Okay.
Oh, I do like Matt Corral. I'm not trying to throw shade at the kid.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
All right, getting into the top 15 here. Number 15, Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback out of Clemson. What do you like about him?
There's not much to not like. The only problem is that I greatly liked the tape from last year better than this year.
Okay.
This is another one that you get a wide range of evaluations on him. Not necessarily from me, but I mean, there are people that think he's a second, third round guy. I don't get it. I know what the slight is. And I think I've said this on the show. If I haven't, I don't know that he's the smartest corner you've ever seen. And when you draft a corner as high as you're going to have to draft him, he really needs to be able to lead the secondary.
Okay.
And I don't know that he can do that. There's always been a belief with Andrew Booth that he is just a guy that you put him out there and talent for talent, he's going to be better than who he's defending. The problem is he could get confused. There have been a lot of shots at, Venables just sits him out at Clemson. You defend the number one guy. Just run with him no matter what happens.
Right.
There's not a lot of switching with him. And there's tape where he gets lost, and there's a pre-snap motion, and he can't figure out if he's and then breakdown. A couple of the only breakdowns we've seen at Clemson, because Clemson's defense has been really good. A couple of the only breakdowns we've seen this year, you could directly tie them back to Andrew Booth. That makes me a little nervous, but, I mean, in terms of your man on against my guy, Andrew Booth is a high-end cover guy.
When I look
I'm
at
also
him,
afraid he's not going to run super fast.
When I look at him, I see Dante Jackson.
No, he's not nearly as fast as Dante Jackson.
Really?
No, hell no. No, God, no. He's not going to run anywhere near that fast. My fear is he's going to run slow. And I'm talking 4.55.
Okay.
And if that happens, he'll fall like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Now he runs 4.39. Now we're talking top 15 pick.
Okay.
Because if he's that fast, you've got catch-up speed. Now all of the other things go out the window. If he's – all right, so I'll give you a little behind the – this is how people that do what I do. This is how we think. So if Andrew Booth runs a 4.5, what does that tell you? 4.55, what does that tell you?
That he's going to be slower than most of the receivers.
Not even really that. It's the high-end receivers. All right, so I'm drafting him in the top 15 to be my one, right?
Yeah.
What happens when we play Kansas City? Can he one-on-one defend Tyreek Hill?
No, he won't be able to
he'll
keep
get
up.
blown by it.
Mm-hmm.
He will blow by him. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have to run a lot of switches.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a lot of zone concepts and it's not going to just be you one-on-one with this guy. And then that gets into when you get him in a room, start drawing things up on the chalkboard,
right.
Where does his brain go?
Right.
And I would say that's more important with him than probably with any other, I would say with any other corner in this draft.
Okay.
Might be more than any other player in this draft.
At number 14, George Karlaftis, edge rusher out of Purdue.
Yeah, the tape on him this year has been it's pretty good. And he's been good against the best teams they played, too.
Mm-hmm.
I still maintain I don't know that he's not a situational pass rusher in the NFL. I don't know that he can hold up. He's been good. I get it. I watched the tape on him and I just go, I don't know that that's not what you're going to end up being in the league. That's a projection. I'm trying to find something to ding the kid on.
Mm-hmm.
I got him at 14. So it's not like I got a whole lot of qualms with him in the first place. It's just what kept him out of that elite tier.
Number 13, Jahan Dotson.
And here's one that I really had to make something up to keep him out of the elite tier.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little short. That's what I got. He's a little short. He's also the only playmaker on his offense, and he has dominated teams.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kid. You remember what I said about Josh Palmer last year? If he had a better quarterback, he would have been a top 25 pick.
Yes.
If Jahan Dotson had a better quarterback, he'd be a top 10 pick. Jahan Dotson can be an elite receiver in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean elite.
What role do you see him playing?
Slot. I see him I could see him in that Tyreek Hill, hey, you just one-on-one can't defend him role.
Mm-hmm.
I am really curious to see what he runs.
Do you think he can
really curious.
Do you think he can be in that elite level? In that elite tier of DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, that kind of fast?
That kind of fast?
Right.
No. I think he's more of a shifty guy. I've heard him compared to a couple different guys, and I like one and I don't love the other. He kind of reminds me of Elijah Moore, who, by the way, I was plastered on. So, we say this about...
And it took a while, but he's coming around.
We say this about dudes when they pick up the same kind of girl at the bar. Jeremy has a type too, and it's shifty-ass little slot receivers that just constantly get open.
Right.
That's my type.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jahan Dotson. The problem is he's little. He is little. I'm afraid. I saw him. Let's see, who are they playing? This might have been against Michigan. I looked at him and I went, that kid doesn't weigh 170 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5'10". I bet he doesn't weigh $160. And now it's churn of the year. You're gonna lose weight as the year goes on. At 160 pounds in the NFL, you know what? You know what they set you up for?
What's that?
Flowers. Sent to your hospital room and possibly put on your grave. That's really the only slide I have with him. He's so shifty.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that screams off the tape to me when I watch Penn State is, he is the only guy for that team that's just scared. They got a tight end too whose name, for whatever reason, I never can remember.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, there's nobody that scares you. And you still can't defend him. He still tears people apart.
Number 12, Ikem Ekwonu.
This is a guy that I'm starting to just absolutely fall in fucking love with.
Mm-hmm.
I was in like with him before. I'm in love with him now.
But again, we talked about him the other day. You think he's a guard, not a tackle.
I don't think he's a guard. I know he's a guard.
Okay.
The question is, does somebody try to get cute and take him in the top 10 and play him as a big bull tackle? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. This guy can be one of the 3 or 4 best guards in the NFL. Immediately. He's not Quentin Nelson good, but he's right behind that. He can be that immediately. Teams that I would love him with, San Francisco, the Jets, Baltimore, any team that really leans on the run game, I'm going to love you taking Ike Ekwonu. He's just a bull. I mean, he's a fucking bull.
And he's not too slow.
No,
he's got some nice moves that he can get to the second level.
The thing, Carolina, Kevin Vick said this in the comments. Carolina, that's another team that would be. I wouldn't mind that. The thing with Ekwonu is that you don't necessarily run that zone block scheme. You do a lot more of, hey, get Christian McCaffrey on the outside. So I care more about your pull tackle and your pull guard, and I don't know that that's what Ekwonu can do that. I just don't know that's what he's the best at. For him, he's going to be that seal off the hole for the one cut in a one cut zone read system. That's why I look at the Jets and a slew of others.
At number 11, getting into the could be a franchise player with the right situation tier. Number 11, Evan Neal.
I'm lower on Evan Neal than damn near everybody else.
I mean, I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have him top 5 or close.
And I don't see it. I don't see it.
Why?
Watch the Texas A&M tape.
Okay.
That's all you got to do. Watch the Texas A&M tape and tell me that you see this guy's a left tackle in the NFL. You can't take a lineman in the top 10 if you don't see him as a left tackle. Ask the New York Giants. Of which, yes, Andrew Thomas had gotten better before he wound up on IR, but I think he's a guy that should go in that 11 to 15 range.
Okay.
Because I see him, to me, he's no doubt a right tackle at best. He might be a guard.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen a list, a big board, a mock draft, anything that has the guy that you have ranked in front of him going first and Charles Cross.
You should.
From Mississippi State.
Because he's a left tackle. Evan Neal's not.
Okay.
Straight up, Evan Neal's not a left tackle. And I could see weight issues for Neal. I could see all kinds of. And I'll be honest with you, Neal has fallen every time I've done one of these. This is the first one we put out in public. I have literally dropped Evan Neal every time I've watched him. DeMarvin Leal ate his lunchbox when they played Texas A&M.
Right. I'll be honest with you, Charles Cross, he, of the limited tackles that I did watch tape on, I was the most impressed with him, and I went, that's a Jeremy Green guy.
Yeah, Charles Cross is a me guy.
Because he's long. He's so long.
He is going to be, I think Charles Cross comes into this league, and within 3 years, he's a Pro Bowl level tackle. That's how good I think he can be. Does he have that Penny Sewell upside? No. I don't necessarily think he can be that good. He can be
steady.
He can be a constant Pro Bowler. I do not see a way he does not go in the top 10. Physically do not see a way. And if he doesn't, somebody in the teens is going to get the value of the draft.
Right.
Because to me, I have him as the number 1 tackle in this class.
Is this like getting Christian Darrisaw at 14 or wherever he went in this past draft?
Yeah, it looks a lot like that, yeah.
Okay. At number 9, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Sam Howell.
He's my number 1 quarterback. He's been my number 1 quarterback. He continues to be my number 1 quarterback, and he will be my number 1 quarterback as long as we do this. But he was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. Look at the line. Look at the receivers. I mean, I can give you 55 reasons. The defense is just putridly bad. I give you 50 reasons he's not a Heisman candidate. You know what those reasons aren't? Him. Did he have a tough game against Virginia Tech? Yeah, on the road. Grossly overmatched. That defense was just sending the hellhounds at him every down because they knew they couldn't block it.
Yeah. That offensive line was god-awful. And it has been for most of the season.
And I'll tell you another reason that I'm getting higher on Sam Howell as it goes, because I think he's going to go lower than you think. I think Sam Howell's going to end up being that guy that goes lower than you think. And you remember all those things I said about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah.
God, I'd love him in Pittsburgh.
Holy smokes.
God bless, I'd love him in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to start immediately.
No doubt.
I can't say that about Matt Corral. I can't say that about Malik Willis. I can't say that about Carson Strong. There are 2 quarterbacks in this class I can say that about. Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell.
Whoever he goes to, they got to teach him how to protect himself, though. It's the one thing about Sam that I hate so much. Is like, dude, you cannot keep getting killed like this. Because he will just straight up lower a shoulder and go into a defender, and that is bad news.
Bad news bears. Don't do it. It's a bad call.
I've also seen him do that thing where he tries to spin.
And
It's almost like
his ribs.
Yeah, it's almost like he's on a video game, and he's like, if I just hit the spin button, like he's playing NFL Blitz or something. If I just hit the spin button, there's a chance that they're going to miss me. Yeah, and it doesn't work out in his favor.
I have a really weird feeling he's going to run much higher than people think. I think he's faster than people think he is.
Oh, okay.
I've heard, he's a poor man's Baker Mayfield. No, he's a very wealthy man's Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that comparison because he's got a markedly bigger arm than Baker does.
I agree.
And he's a better decision maker.
He's always been the number 1 target for me in this draft class, and he's going to continue to be as well. Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, number 8.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy that I'm drunk on? Nakobe Dean's a guy I'm drunk on.
You should be. Because I think he's a guy that fits this new system in the NFL of having these hybrid linebacker safety guys.
He does. He's a missile.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about him is, he plays a less than valuable position. Okay, did we say that about Devin White? No. Here's the thing: he's a markedly better pass rusher than Devin White. Markedly. Is he as fast? No. Not far off of it.
I'd agree with that.
Is he as good a cover guy? No. But he's not far off.
I think it's weird because I think he might be better with the ball in his hands, which is, it's not something that you usually compare linebackers on, but still, some of the picks that he's made in his Georgia career are just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Like, he's got great recognition of the play and could jump the route and gone.
He's a missile, and I love him, and I think he is. You know what? I could see him being Micah Parsons level impactful in his rookie year in the NFL. But he's just so multiple. I mean, you can do so many things with him. Mm-hmm. He's good in coverage. What could you ding him on something? You're the Georgia guy. Ding him on something.
Can't.
There you go.
Can't
it was
really.
a trick question because I got nothing.
Can't.
His negative column for me, I'm looking at the evaluation now. It's empty. I don't have one. He's that good. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest questions was when Adam Anderson got charged with rape and he was gone, what happened to Nakobe Dean? Mm-hmm. Might have had his best game of the year. I mean, I think the Florida tape is probably the one that, if you're sending one out, that's probably the one I'd send out. Tennessee be close to.
Oh yeah, that was his Azeez Ojulari against Cincinnati game. Mm-hmm. That's the one that'll pump him up into the top 10.
I don't know that he'll go in the top 10 because he plays a less valuable position. I think he's more in the top 15 range, but he's going to be a really good. I look at him as a team that barely misses the playoffs is going to pick him in that 15-ish range. And I'm just going to go, mother. Mm-hmm. Denver. That's one. I could see him being a valuable piece in Denver.
Oh, no doubt. Number 7 on the Jeremy Greene 2022 big board. Drake London, wide receiver from USC.
This place is ending today.
That's how I feel about Drake London.
Uh-huh.
I look at Drake London and Drake Jackson very similarly. I don't think he's been coached very well. Mm-hmm. The raw on Drake London is intoxicating. What do you really want from a receiver?
Sure hands.
And?
Speed. Big body. Willing blocker. I just wanted to squeeze that in somewhere because I got to get it into every draft.
There we go. I was trying to quietly ring the bell. He's not a bad blocker. He's he's not asked to do that a lot in at USC. I think he can. I think he's not as good a blocker as Michael Pittman, but he's right behind it. Mm-hmm. He's everything I want in a receiver. He's the number one receiver in his class to me. He's the guy I look at and go, hey, you're going to go in the 20s, and you're going to go to a good team, and you're going to be their A1 since day one, Michael Pittman. And you're going to be a pain in the ass to deal with in the NFL because you can outrun corners. You're bigger than damn near all of them. You're going to have to double the guy. He's a guy that you'll see him in mock drafts in the low 20s, high teens. I could see him going in the top 10. If he runs at the combine, he's going to throw a number that you go, holy shit. I could see him running a 4.38.
Yeah. And he's also a guy that when you're inside the 20, just to run him on a slant, he's going to win. He will win.
Yeah. Corners look at him across from them and just immediately go.
Who the fuck cares?
They're going to score anyway. Who the fuck cares? Drake London's number 7 and number 6, Tyler Linderbaum, the greatest center prospect of all time.
He's the number one center I've ever graded. He reminds me of Nick Mangold. Body type, everything. And he's better. He's better than Nick Mangold.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
That's coming from a Jets fan, too.
Who has a Nick Mangold jersey.
I'm surprised you don't have a jersey of Nick Mangold's sister as much as you love him.
No good can come from that, so I'm just going to roll on right past it. Very rarely do you get universal, no doubt agreement on who the number one prospect at a position is. Tyler Linderbaum's that. He's the number one center, and anybody that tells you he's not, you should just immediately stop listening to them. I mean, yeah, I like Alec Lindstrom too. He's not in the same ballpark. I have Lindstrom as a day 2 pick. I could see Tyler Linderbaum going to the top 12.
Right.
As a center. The Atlanta Falcons. Hey, maybe you should consider this. Because Matt Hennessy looked a little overpowered last night.
Number 5, the last one in the close to being franchise tier. We got the top 4 are franchise players. But number 5, DeMarvin Leal.
This is my dude. He's best suited to be a 4-3 D tackle. You know how impactful Quinnen Williams has been with the Jets? You know how impactful Aaron Donald has been with the Rams? I think he could be right in between it.
Okay.
He can play on the outside. I don't think he's fast enough to do that routinely, but he's big and lean and strong enough to really be a pain. You can move him all around the formation. Watch the tape against Evan Neal. Very rarely does one matchup so drastically change my opinion about 2 players. Watch DeMarvin Leal on Evan Neal. Ever since I watched that, DeMarvin Leal's kept going up, and Evan Neal's kept going down.
The top 4 projected franchise players in the NFL. Immediate superstardom when they come into the league. Number 4 is Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
The big drawback on him was a lot of people thought he couldn't hold up against the run. He's actually graded pretty well. I've seen him as high as 2.
Wow.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I don't know how you would take him over the 3 guys in front of him because I think the 3 guys in front of him are no doubt franchise pieces. He's pretty close. Worst case scenario, he's a 4-3 very high-end pass rusher. That's worst case scenario. That maybe in the NFL gets pushed around a little bit because he's a little bit leaner than you want him to be. But this is a guy that gets into an NFL strength and conditioning program, and he might be the monster that hides under your bed.
Right. And number 3, Derek Stingley Jr.
Go
from
Tigers.
LSU. Yeah.
Go Tigers. Most draft-ready player in this draft. Derek Stingley is a day 1 Patrick Peterson level player. Trot him out there and just go. You do you. You want to play in the slot? Okay, play in the slot. Their best receiver plays in the slot? Okay, you do that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go play him man up. It's fine. I very rarely look at a corner and go, that's a top 5 pick. Derek Stingley's a top 3 pick.
Is he going to your Jets?
I don't know. I'm going to say no because they don't value corners like that.
Is this why you have him at number 3?
No.
Because y'all would pick 3rd right now?
No, they don't. No, I have him at 3 because 1 and 2 are Hall of Fame level type players. And Derek Stingley can be that too. If you told me one of the three of them wasn't, I would bet my house it's him. I can see him being really, really, really good, but never being that transcendent.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets who are constantly linked to Derek Stingley, and I just don't see it. They don't value corners like that. They don't. And they have a lot of young corners. They like a lot of their young guys. Jacksonville's who I keep winding up with Derek Stingley when ending up with.
Okay.
On the other side of Shaq Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you put Griffin back as a 2. He's a very highly paid 2. But he could be what they wanted C.J. Henderson to be.
Right.
There's almost no way he misses. There's no way he's a bust. I don't think you ever look at him the way the Cowboys looked at Morris Claiborne.
Okay.
Who did have a good second act with the Jets.
He did.
He was fine.
He was okay.
Was in the league for a while.
He was okay. Number 2, Kyle Hamilton.
I want him at 1.
Safety out of Notre Dame.
I want him at 1. I really do. And he may end up being at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Hamilton has Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu wrapped in the same body. And that's how good he can be. You never see a safety go in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's going in the top 5. The Florida State tape, you get drunk watching the Florida State tape. He had one of the craziest interceptions I've ever seen. Single high safety, he reads out the shot off a play fake. And he covered half the field.
Mm-hmm.
After the pass was thrown. I've never seen anything like it. I've watched it repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a great hitter, great coverage guy. He is an elite single high safety in this league because there is nothing that's too big for him. And he's a giant.
And is he worth it? Is he worth a top 5 pick?
Who's the best safety you've ever seen in your life?
I think it would be Troy.
Would that Pittsburgh defense have been what it was without Troy Polamalu?
No.
Then you answered your own question.
Yeah.
Because he can be that.
Okay.
He's that good. Rob Johnson said the Jets need Kyle Hamilton. They love Kyle Hamilton. They got a little burned by Jamal Adams, so that's resting in their crawl, but they feel the same way about Kyle Hamilton that I do.
Right. And they're going to have an opening at safety.
Yeah, because Marcus May deweyed himself right out of New York.
Yes, indeed, he did. Number 1, the number 1 overall player, everybody knows who it is. It's Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon.
It's exactly what you think.
The guy's just incredible.
He is. The floor on him is so high. I mean, the floor on him is 5-time Pro Bowler.
I agree.
And that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're just he's so good you're lost for words.
He can be Myles Garrett. I think damn near immediately.
Damn.
He can be that good.
Okay.
He's a physical freak. He holds up against good competition. We've seen it. We've seen Oregon do all the things. There's really not anything to slight him on. Oh, he's a little thin. Cool. Put him in an NFL weight room. Put him in an NFL weight room and watch what happens. Because if you remember, we said the same thing about Von Miller.
Mm-hmm. All right, there it is. Your top 32 prospects for the 2022 NFL Draft, Flostradamus style.
You won't see a lot of change. I don't put these out until late for a reason. You're not going to see a lot of change there. I would say on draft night, we probably have 30 of the 32 guys that are on this list will be in the top 32 for me.
Okay.
Usually there might be a little movement, and it's usually at the very, very back end.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Johnson asked, is Kayvon a higher graded prospect than Chase Young? No. But there's not a no-doubt quarterback. Chase Young was the number 1 prospect in that draft from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We all had Chase Young at 1. But we had Burrow at 2.
Right.
Burrow's quarterback. So tie goes to the runner. I would say they're very similar. I can't remember exactly what my numeric grade on Chase Young was, but I'll bet you it was within a 10th or 2/10 of a point it came on Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm. The question for me at the top of this draft is there a quarterback that these teams at the top can get sold on that will make them pass on a franchise player? Can Detroit fall in so much love with Matt Corral or Sam Howell where they go, you know what, we don't want Kayvon Thibodeau?
there will be a quarterback, whoever's picking one, whether it's Detroit or Houston, there will be a guy that looks at both of them through the pre-draft process and just says,
I'm your boy.
There is every year. This happens every time we don't have a no-doubt number one quarterback prospect. Somebody is going to be the guy that differentiates themselves. Who that's going to be, I don't know. And it will be, as I've said multiple times, it'll be beauties in the eye of the beholder. What is it that you want? Do you want that multiple quarterback? Because that's Malik Willis. Do you want the high-end upside, but the guy that could crash into the fucking ocean? It's Matt Corral. Do you want the safe guy? That's Sam Howell. Do you want the game manager, That's the thing. I'm telling, and just remember I said this. It's an imitation league. Kenny Pickett and Mac Jones could be each other for Halloween. So don't be shocked if one of these teams really high looks at Kenny Pickett and goes, well, we didn't take Mac Jones last year, so we can get his doppelganger this year. Don't be shocked if that happens.
We shall see how it unfolds, and of course, we will continue to update the big board throughout the end of the season, and of course, in the off season, it all just Jeremy goes full on nerd mode on the NFL draft, and we're all better for it.
That's because my favorite noise in all the world is.
There is a reason that we call it Draftmas here in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to tune in with us this afternoon on ESPN Asheville. We'll preview every game for Week 11 in the NFL. I'm sure there are other things to talk about as well. We will have the Beat the Chief segment. Unfortunately, the Chief won't be with us again, so
we're
got his
hoping
picks.
He'll be on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a phone this time. We didn't have a phone at the on location.
On location last week, yeah. But the Chief's up in Buffalo this time?
Yep.
To Vegas, Buffalo. They're going to Florida in a couple of weeks. It's like, wow, they just going all over the place. It's good to be the king. Or
it's
the
good
chief,
to be the chief,
I guess. We'll play Beat the Chief coming up this afternoon on ESPN Asheville. Join us back here on YouTube at 3 o'clock. Or, of course, you can hear it everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Green. We'll see you next time.